I'm not saying mechanical has no growth. It actually has very lot of growth and it's still growing. But sometimes that's what I feel like. You should leave the control to the life. It takes you where it wants to go.
Over there, we had a lot of algorithm-driven trades, setting up automations, etc.
Initially, when I took the decision to take a break, that's all I had in mind. I had to clear the IIT JEE.
Hey Manu, welcome to Sharpener के share, and you're a share for today. How does it feel like being on this end of the podcast?
Uh, First of all, I feel happy to be at least, finally I've reached a part where I used to see a lot of these videos. Now I'm being part of one. So I'm really happy for that. And thank you, Kastub, for this opportunity to share my experiences at this podcast.
Great, great. No, I think I'm luckier. It's been a while up. If it were not for these podcasts, the kind of way in which we understand student problems, their journeys, their experiences, it's not possible to know that where I stand as a founder.
Yeah.
So these interactions with you guys after you guys hit place, it's a wonderful experience altogether. Um, I wanted to ask you one thing. Like I saw that you know a lot of languages. You know English, you know Hindi. You're good with Kannada. You're good with Telugu. And I think we already spoke in English, Hindi already.
Yeah.
So where is your native? What was your childhood like? And how come you got so familiar with so many languages?
So I was born in a city called Ballari, which is in the border of Andhra Pradesh. So there we used to speak both Kannada and Telugu. So that's how I know both of those languages. As for Hindi, we were taught as a third language. So that and the movies, obviously. I used to watch a lot of movies from where I picked up Hindi.
Yeah.
And right now, even my colleagues are all speaking in Hindi. So uh, daily, I'm also improving. Along with JS, I'm also improving my Hindi language. So as in English, it's a primary language I speak to. I'm basically from
I like
Karnataka.
how you said along with JS. You're based in Karnataka. Like the only Kannada I know is Kannada Gotalla, which basically means I do not know Kannada.
Yeah.
What about your Hindi? Like, can you say something in Hindi?
हाँ मुझे थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी आता है and I can I don't know what else to say. I can speak in
Not
Hindi
bad,
if
not
you
bad,
want
not bad.
conversing.
Okay, that's a good accent.
Yeah. I mean, the accent is good, yeah, I guess.
No, it's okay. The accent is pretty good. And so you came from like some village or something. You said it
No,
wasn't exactly a city, right? It was some.
it's a city.
You said
It
in the
was a
border.
city. It was a city. It's around
It was a
20,
city.
yeah, 20-30 kilometers from Andhra Pradesh.
From Andhra Pradesh, got it. And how was that compared to Bangalore? Like the life over here.
Life over
You're
here
in Bangalore, right?
is... Yeah, I used to live in Bangalore. My engineering was done in Bangalore, so I stayed there for 5 years. But
Right.
my native is in a city called Ballari. So here it's a bit more laid back. It's peaceful, yet you'll find everything that's required for survival.
All right. Okay. You studied in Ramaiya, I presume.
Yeah.
You said for 5 years.
I
Normally the
stayed
BTech
there.
program is for 4 years. So
1 year I took a break for 1 year, during which I tried to pick up JEE Mains in advance for that. So during that period, I also stayed in Bangalore. I've post that for 4 years engineering. Yeah, including that, it's a 5 year journey.
even I took a year break when I was like trying for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. Got some rank. Would have gotten some honors in IIT, but didn't really find the appeal there. But were you really bent that it has to be an IIT? That's why you took another try, or
Yeah,
were you
I
was your
did.
mind open also for the alternative?
Initially, when I took the decision to take a break, that's all I had in mind. I had to clear the IIT JEE. But gradually, I couldn't make it. I had a good rank, but it was not sufficient enough to get into IIT. So there was an alternative, obviously. At that point of time, you'll have to take an alternative.
Right. This was you got a rank in advanced as well. Like you clear mains
No,
and
no.
then advanced.
Mains, I cleared mains, but not with a
Mains.
very good. Yeah, just the mains.
I get the feeling that you're a bit of a studious person. Is that true?
Yes, you can say that.
Recently, I took a podcast in which you were talking about backbenchers and frontbenchers. So, what were you? A backbencher or frontbencher?
Uh, Sweet spot would be a third bench. That would
Right.
be my spot where I don't.
Okay, I can.
I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't want to be in the first bench or in the back bench. I'm just in the middle somewhere.
You don't seem like an introvert though. Like you're having this
I'm trying to improve.
podcast doesn't
I'm
seem
trying to
like an
improve.
introvert. Except.
I'm trying to improve myself in my
All right.
communication. So
Okay.
yeah.
I will be very curious to know how your Sharpener journey was as far as mock interviews are concerned then, because of that introvert bit. Okay, but like again coming back to just things, like I was just realizing that Ramai is a pretty good college.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, like it might not be the best college, but it's a pretty good college. And if you were already over there, why did you think of an alternative? Why did you think of Sharpener, so on and so
Yeah.
forth? What made you like go to an alternative?
So I'm from mechanical engineering basically. So I studied there for mechanical engineering, and when I was in my final year, just before in my seventh sem, I was getting a placement. But the only placement were for the mechanical engineers were either for the core companies or for the service-based companies, which were like TCS or Infosys, something like that. But I did not want to join the service-based companies where there's a lot. I had this opinion that there would not be much better opportunities over there, and so that made me choose, wait for a right opportunity. And I was alternatively searching for a course because I had done Node.js, I had done React.js, everything, but still I was not having confidence in my way of, my approach to the interview. So I needed some guidance. That's why I was searching for something, and then that's when I got to know the Sharpener.
All right. You said that you already had a brief understanding of React.js, Node.js,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah,
Um, so that would have mean that the Sharpener course would have been a bit familiar to you
yeah.
because that's the tech
It was
stack
very
you also
familiar. In
focus. Or did
fact,
you feel that? Okay.
yeah, yeah. In fact, the React.js course was I had already done the Udemy part of this. I had already covered that, so
Okay.
it was a bit familiar. But yeah, the main thing that I got from Sharpener was DSA. I never did DSA before that, so that was the more beneficial part for me from the Sharpener.
Were you looking forward to DSA preparation?
Yeah,
Because a lot of
yeah. That
people
was
think that's not so important.
no, that was my main motive when I joined Sharpener because other courses like Node.js or the React.js, I had done it in Udemy, YouTube, all those I have done it. But still, I wanted to know more the fundamentals of computer science, like the logic part of it. How do I get into that logic? How do I frame those logics? So DSA was a go-to for that.
Got it.
Yeah. So that was my main
Got it.
intention
A
for
lot of
joining.
people actually we've got a lot of people are mechanical engineers who have joined Sharpener. We have a lot of such people getting fantastic job offers. Like way back when it was a very boom market at that time, the packages they were getting were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, I have a fundamental question that you talked about growth in the mechanical sector, and you felt that TCS service-based companies, of course, everyone knows how things are with those big giants. But why don't people stay with their core mechanical field? What do you think is missing over there?
I'm not sure I'm
According to
capable.
you.
Yeah. So according to me, this was my personal choice. I'm not saying mechanical has no growth. It actually has very lot of growth and it's still growing. But CS is my personal
Mm-hmm.
choice. I always wanted to do CS, but unfortunately I did not get a seat in CS. That was my uh, unfortunate event.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I somehow had in my mind that I have to join an IT company or be a software developer. So at the end, I ended up doing
Got
what I
it.
wanted.
I think like even I'm from an electronics background, but I was looking for a computer science as well. So I just started learning and stuff. But
Yeah.
anyways, life took me to a different trajectory altogether. You never know where you will land 4 years later.
Sometimes that's what I feel
Um,
like. You should leave the
you,
control to the life. It takes you where it wants to go.
I'm sure it'll take you to good places. I saw also like I was just checking your resume a while back, and I saw that in your interests you've also written trading. So
Yeah.
are you like a regular trader?
I used
Where is this
to.
equity?
Uh, I used to, but now I've stopped it. I mean, I'm not constantly checking it. I've invested in some and I've let it run on its own. I'm not constantly checking it right now. But yeah, before I used to do it a lot. Before I used to constantly not trading, but more like investment, like long-term investments.
Fair enough. And how do you go about this? Is it through quantitative understandings, levels, and charts,
Yeah,
or is it through fundamentals of geopolitics, etc., etc.?
geopolitics. Yeah, that both. I think both matters. But basically, I see fundamentals first. In the sense like how the chart is basically how is it going up or down. That's all I see right now. I have very little knowledge about trading actually. Whatever knowledge I have, I've been investing. Not much into that.
I was thinking that trading, it also depends a lot on strategies and thinking. You have to get your logic right. Even if you break it down into micros, there is some algorithm involved over there also.
Yes.
For my first job, I was a market analyst at Futures First. So over there, we had a lot of algorithm-driven trades, setting up automations, etc. So I want to ask, do you think that mindset of trading, etc., helped you with developing algorithms of coding as well? Do you think that quantitative thinking also allowed you to perform well over here, or vice versa?
I'm not sure that quantitative thinking. See, trading has never. It was very new for me. It is very new even now for me. I never. I started trading almost 1.5 year ago. That's all. 1.5 year ago. But before that, I had this inclination towards step-by-step procedures and all. I'm a very organized kind of guy, so I like it. If there are step-by-step instructions, then yeah, algorithms. I always have that inclination towards that.
Good. The reason I ask this is because a lot of these trading firms they hire a lot of engineers. Why do you think that is? Do engineers have that some special aspect to it?
Obviously, engineers are trained with mathematics, so I guess they have some kind of inclination towards quantitatively analyzing the things. So yeah, there are better options. If not them, I think other fields. I'm not sure of the other fields.
Normally, people take a while to adapt to, first of all, basics of coding, fundamentals. Once they get used to it, DS, etc., then they have to get used to other stuff. How was it like for you? Because you already know things. So, what took how much? How long did you take for the entire program? And which was the part that you found the most challenging?
So I studied my basics when I was in my 11th and 12th. So I in my 11th and 12th I had CS as a subject. So that's where I learned C++, to which I covered the basics of it. Later, when there was a lockdown, I was not attending the colleges. I was just working on the projects and all that. So that's where I refreshed my basics again. And when I joined Sharpener, actually, the DSA part was a more challenging one. I expected that it will be challenging for me, but yeah, that part took more time than the other, like Node.js or covering web development part was a breeze. But DSA took almost 2 months, 2.5 months, I guess.
At any point of time, did you think that DSA was a bit too complex?
No, it is meant to be complex. That's how you learn things. So I enjoyed it actually.
Why do you say
It was
so?
kind of a game. Like
It's kind of a game.
yeah,
Right.
if it's very easy, then there's no point in doing it. It's always fun to solve a puzzle, right? And DSA is a puzzle. It's a key to solve a puzzle, basically. So I enjoyed it a lot, DSA. The more tougher it got,
See, I'm getting the vibe still that you're a front bencher.
maybe I am. I'm not sure.
All right. You said that DSA, the problems part of it, that was interesting to you. It was feeling like a puzzle. But the problem with puzzles is that at times you reach a block hole. At times you get stuck on one very minute thing and it can get irritating.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that?
Perspectives, like the way you look at a problem, might be tougher from one side or one angle, but if you change your angle, it will somewhat become easier. For example, if you're trying to solve it uh, maybe a brute force way, and you're trying to fetch up some answer, but maybe you're doing it in the wrong way. Like maybe you are changing your way of thinking can solve that problem much easily. So yeah, it will take time to get that perspective. What perspective is the right perspective is a question that's not easier to get. But yeah, I guess practice will make it better. But again, if you're stuck, I
Okay.
prefer looking into the answer and then prepping myself for the next challenge.
Got it. And how was it with Sharpener? Like whenever you stuck with question, did you leverage the hints, or did you approach the mentors, or did you just scout online for the best solution? What helped you?
Uh, Actually, with Sharpener, the basics like up till stacks, I guess. Yeah, stacks until stack it was very easier. I covered it on my own
Mm-hmm.
without much help. Mm, but yeah, I was stuck in between in those also. But I spent a lot of time in each problems at that moment. So that was okay. But when I came to stack, that was when I spent a lot of time in thinking what could be the solution, and that's when I first saw few like lead code neat code is one of the YouTube channels that helped me a lot. So and also uh, it's a the stacks and queues were a bit tricky ones for me, stack queues and the linked list ones. So there I struggled a bit. That's where I went for help online.
All right. Okay. How were your interactions during classes, the mentors? Like, did you also ask them out doubts, uh, or
Yeah,
was it just like a learning session for you?
I rarely attended a doubt session, to be honest. I'm more of a
All
self-paced
right.
kind of guy. But yeah, I did attend a few of Vaibhav's class in the initial periods of it. I had, for I think Stack itself, I had a few doubts in Stack, so I did approach him for that. Uh, but yeah, I asked him a doubt, and it was cleared well. But yeah, I attend only when I have a doubt.
Got you.
In general, I prefer to study myself.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, that's what we also recommend, that um, till you do not struggle to solve something, till that time you also will not get the satisfaction when you
Yeah,
solve it.
agree.
So that is definitely understandable. I think this is the case with everyone, that the initial phase of data structures is slightly easier because you're starting with loops and like things that come to you naturally. But once you hit stuff like stacks, queues, linked lists, recursion, of course, things start going haywire.
Yeah.
Any tip that you would have specifically for DSA to people on how they should go about preparing?
Uh, I would ask them to not expect them to get an answer on the first try. Like, if see you're sitting with a mindset of understanding the problem, not to get the answer, but to understand the procedure to solve the problem. That's the most important part of it. So while doing a DSA, what I would suggest is, if you're not getting an answer, please try to find some hints or at least get an answer so that you can solve the next challenge itself. You basically DSA is prepping yourself to solve much more challenging questions. It's not like that itself is the most challenging question. So whenever you're during please have this mindset of you know please have a mindset to solve it by understanding how exactly the
Mm.
procedure is, not to get the answer. The answer you'll get the answer if you do some if you just see the YouTube, you'll get the answer, but it's not the right way. You should understand how it got there.
Okay, okay, got it. And whenever you also said about trying out different algorithms, like for example, initially there's brute force, and after that you look to optimize.
Hmm.
So does that mean that once you were able to run an answer, run some test cases, and you got the output, you didn't stop there? You even thought a bit on how to optimize it further. Were you
Yeah.
thinking on those lines, or were you just looking to proceed ahead?
Yes, absolutely. I always tried for that approach to optimize whatever I've written already. Even now, when I'm doing my job, that's the first thing I do. I've first find the solution, and then I try to optimize my algorithms, so that it just have been a kind of habit that I formed to do it that way.
Okay. Is that mindset also helping you during your interviews? Like, did it help during your interview as well?
Yes, it did. It's a kind of procedure, step-by-step procedure. First, I find the brute force way, and then I try to optimize it. If I find a way to optimize it, if it can be, maybe some few edge cases which can be altered, and it can be handled. That's a procedure. I have a kind of a list,
Okay.
way to approach a problem, kind of thing.
So you said that you already were a bit familiar with the development practices, uh, a lot of stuff around development. So let's talk specifically around projects. Was there any specific project that you enjoyed and why so?
I think the chat application was one I enjoyed a lot, because sockets was very new for me. That was a technology that I did not know about. So I learned a lot about that, and there was not, to be honest, the documentation for socket was not so well made. So I figured it
Okay.
out by the other articles around that sockets, and it was very fun. And actually, to my surprise, I enjoyed a lot of deployment part more than the development part, because that was more challenging. The configuring the Nginx and the AWS part of
Yeah.
it. That was
Right.
really good. I mean, at that part of time, I'm not sure of now. That part of time, AWS was a bit not so clear about the videos that were around that, because a lot of things changed frequently. So yeah, that can't be blamed for that. But
Of course.
that was very very challenging and very interesting.
Got it. Okay. And when you talk about chat application, I'm just reminded of ChatGPT. So very curious on like during the preparation stage, especially in the last year, since you've also been preparing, um, people tend to overuse ChatGPT a lot, and some people underuse it completely. What is ChatGPT to you?
It was a very good tool for prepping. Like I just simply asked for some interview questions based on Node.js, or basically any doubt I had. I first go to ChatGPT just to clear that out, not to um, use it more profoundly or something like that, but just the very basic doubts I had around the interview side of things. Not only technical part of it, but also the HR point of views, like how to answer these questions, like why do you want to work here, or how do I approach those kind of questions. So yeah, it was a very good tool.
Mhm.
It's a very good tool, but again, tools must be used in very good sense. That's it.
You said that you're not using it to get direct answers, but to get the concepts behind the answers.
Yeah.
And of course, during the interview stage, when you were asking for sample interview questions. But what around the DSA part? Because in DSA, I assume you required a lot of help. So didn't it
But
directly give you the answers that time?
no, that part of time, ChatGPT was not so. I did not know about ChatGPT at that part of time. It was, I think,
Okay.
during February, not February, sorry, yeah, around April of last year. April, May, and June. These 3 months were for DSA for me, for last 2023. So at that part of time, I
GPT
don't
was
think,
very new
yeah,
that
which
time.
was very new. I did not know of its existence. I use ChatGPT for mostly
Got it.
development part of it, or deployment part of
Any specific prompts that helped you get very specific GPT questions which helped you exactly during your interviews, which you want to share?
it. I had a paragraph written about it. I explained what my scenario is, like where I'll be, like what kind of company I'm gonna be interviewing for, and what is my position, and who's going to ask me those questions, like these particular things, set of questions. And um, yeah, it gave, I mean, these the output was very generic answer questions, like why do you want to work here, or but still I had, with that, what I got is just a key points to say to them. I did not get exact line, but
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking for a
Mm-hmm.
key point to say, so that the important points are conveyed well.
Got it. Okay. And just to call it out, like where are you working right now? Just let everyone know.
Yeah, I'm working at Storyport right now as a trainee. For 6 months, I'll be a trainee.
Right. After that, will it be back in the front end for you
A backend. It will be a
or a
backend.
full stack
No, right now it will be a backend for me.
back end? All right. Storyboard has a lot of sharp medians, right?
Yeah.
Like I think they hire at least every quarter they hire around 5 6 people from Sharpener. I'm just very curious personally. How is the environment like? Like, do you guys talk about Sharpener? If so, like, especially in the fresh stage, how's the feedback like?
Honestly, my entire team is Sharpenerians. Like the team that I'm in.
Okay,
the- I think last time Bipin was here. Bipin Thomas.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
he's my team. We are all a part of one team itself. So we talk a lot about Sharpener. I mean, we learned a lot here. So obviously, whatever ideas we get, we incidentally share how it was, how we did when we were studying.
All right. Okay. All right. And if in a broad sense, if you want to give suggestions to anyone on like how should they perform well, like what is the practice that they should cultivate right now, which will also help them in the job later on? What will it be?
Hmm. I would suggest go for the basics first, because if you sorry, even if you make a project but you don't know the basics of it, then it will be no use. I, so I suggest go for the basics first. Do your DSA right, understand your JS first, and then go for the projects, which will be far easier if you ask me. When you actually do know the basics of JS. Even now, when I'm actually doing Node.js projects on Node.js, working on Node.js, a lot of JS is what mostly it is. So understanding JS is a must if you
Mm-hmm.
want. Wherever you go, JS is what
Got
is.
you.
Yeah.
Any thoughts regarding the job also, like some things to make sure, like do's and don'ts for your first job?
Do's and don'ts. Be kind to your all because you don't know who will become important in your life next. So it's actually corporate life is a very new thing for me. I'm learning a lot. So I know interpersonal skills over here is it's something you have to know, but nobody teaches you this. It comes from the experience. Uh, I suggest be kind because again, you will not know what will happen next.
Right. All right. Okay, that was it from my side of questions. Thanks a lot, Manu, for this interesting session. I don't know if people will ask you directly coding related questions, but they might ask you trading related stuff. Because I think a lot of people, when they get their first paycheck, of course, first paycheck goes to their parents, to their house, to something special. But gradually they start cultivating an habit to save and invest and everything. So it's a really good practice as well. And I really appreciated the fact that you focus a lot on your DSA. A lot of people overlook that. So I hope people will understand the importance